It was like, honestly, it was like going to see the Wizard, right? Right? But then he built these vehicles. Like, he built a Pro 4.
He was the Wizard.
He built a Pro 4 for Rob Mack with air suspension. So he'd taken traditional suspension from, Lowriders and, big trucks and created a way to, like, modify it for off-road so that, during the race, they could change the suspension setup. And the combination of that and Rob Mack driving, they shellacked everybody and outlawed that truck. Rob Mack still has that truck. Question for you. So you just won this major motorcycle award, right?
I was gonna bring it because it's pretty freaking cool.
It is cool, right?
It was pretty cool. Thanks. Yeah.
It was the one show, right?
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, if anybody's into motorcycles, they know that show.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to attend that show, so it was pretty cool because it was like on my bucket list of like, I need to attend that show, and I was just gonna make it happen. But like, I didn't expect that. Like, it was so cool. It's an axe.
Yeah.
The trophy is an axe. It's got a little jacket on it. It's so durable.
I love the fact that it has a
each one
jacket.
is all unique. And I was gonna bring it just so you guys can hold it because it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it was
so
like,
cool.
yeah, and
I just, what's interesting is like, I just like that show because that was one of the first shows that I saw that was not denominational. Like, if you can make a Honda chopper,
yeah,
Right.
like they're like, that's cool, right? And I grew up in, it was like, if it wasn't a Harley, it wasn't cool.
Yep.
And then Harleys got so lame from the factory that everybody started getting into all these
Modifying.
other bikes, right? And I just remember seeing that movement happen and being like, dude, that thing's bad. What is it? And it was like, a Honda. I'm like, it's a Honda chopper?
Right?
It's rad, right?
Right?
But that's the spirit of hot rodding. It's like, well, what's in the yard? What do we got? What's cheap? How can we modify it? And, and that's the beauty is the off-road culture was born out of hot rod culture.
Just gonna say the way that you've taken the Mint, and that's what it is. It's like the punk rock version of the Mint. It's like
Sure.
everything kind of comes in, and that's how the one show is too. It's just like it's a mix of all of this. It's total culture because they really want you to understand. One of the things I loved, and it's exactly what you touched on, was how many families were there.
Yeah.
Like everyone came. Like I was teaching pinstriping, and one of the tables that we had 2 bike builders that were in the show.
Yep.
We had a 7-year-old girl.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had 2 women, and I was like, this is the diversity that we're looking for to
Right.
change the world, to teach them that all of us being around each other, learning shit like this, like that's cool.
Well, and I think like, you and other women in particular, like have done a good job of like breaking the stereotype, right? Like you don't need to be a 60-year-old dude with a beard and shitty biker
Right?
tattoos
Totally.
to, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
the stereotype.
Oh yeah.
So it's like when you see women painting, when you see women fabricating, when you see women building cars, like especially the younger women are like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I could do that, right?
Yeah.
And I think we need more of that because it bums me out when I see, high schools without ROP programs
Yep.
and teaching people trades and to build things with their hands,
Yeah.
right? So when things like that pop up and, in particular, women are participating, I mean, there's a lot of dudes there that are like I look at some of the stuff they're doing and I'm like, it's like, I know how much time that takes.
Yeah.
And in many cases, they're not going to get that they're not going to get the money back for the time they put in.
Right.
They're going to sell it.
Yeah.
But like, it should be $80,000 and they're going to sell
but
it for
it's their
20.
passion.
You know what I mean?
I know.
But it's
Yeah.
cool because again, I think one thing that's very important to America is our art of cars,
Yeah.
right? And whether that's it's funny. I was down a while ago with a friend of mine, and they were doing a whole exhibition on the art of lowriders, and I absolutely love lowriders for the effort that's put
Yes,
into
there's so
it, right?
much.
They're beautiful. Like I was actually down in Logan Heights on Sunday. Yeah, I think it was Sunday. And, we're just sitting at a taco shop and being totally entertained by the cars that are rolling by.
Yeah.
And it was everything from like, clapped out 80s sedans to, 1943 sedans I'm like, dude, like this is, that car had to be passed down between two or three generations.
Yeah.
So, it's an art form. Same way hot rodding is, same way off-road builds are.
Yep.
And same way choppers are. And that's what's cool about it now is when I say choppers, it's not indicative of just Harleys. It's everything, So, congratulations.
Just anything that's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like you.
All of us. I think this is a great table. I'm excited about that.
This is a great table.
But yes, I mean,
I can't
this is
keep
how
pace with you
all
guys.
of us will be changing the world because that's what it takes is like us infusing. Oh God. I just said the word wrong. Infusing.
Okay.
I don't know.
I still have some
infusing.
there.
I don't even know what that was. Wait, hold on.
I'm totally wasted.
Infusing the world
It's little babies.
with
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
With this,
Thank you.
I mean, we have to go. Like, it's up to you, the audience, right here.
Yes.
It's up to you to go out and change the world. Like
Oh,
all of us. Like, this is what
totally.
we're doing.
Well,
we're helping to infuse the culture of like people getting excited about
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah, and like
Share it with them.
vote with your dollar. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Like go buy some artisanal mezcal.
Right?
You know what I mean?
That's really
And
fun.
then it's gonna happen.
Yes.
Will save the world.
creative
I
juices will
guarantee you
be
everything will get
flowing.
better. If
Yeah.
everybody would just go out and buy some artisanal
Everyone needs
mezcal.
to chill out.
No,
But I think
that's for sure. Like
Cheers to
let's-
that.
But I think too, ultimately,
every college campus needs
yes.
some artisanal mezcal
yes.
right now.
Well, the state of the world right now, we can use some people that are creative and
Which one is that one?
This one's Yola,
Okay.
and it's a I don't know much. It's a
Man, oh,
Hoven.
man. Oh, I remember Hoven from last year.
Right,
Young?
it's so it means
don't
young.
remember
It doesn't
what-
say the
Okay.
type of agave. I'd have to Google it.
Okay.
You're so smart.
Yeah, that one's
Don't
good.
drink this
It's light.
cup. I'm gonna switch.
It's light.
I'm gonna switch.
That one's good.
So one of the things that I loved about that is that you mentioned the one show and like the axe and being able to hold something like, I brought,
Cancer.
something that you got. Yeah, but there's something about these like tactile things that you have also because it's part of that culture too. It's not just the experience itself,
Right.
but it's the moments that everyone has. And then having something that can continue that moment.
Well,
That they can look at and know like, hey, this was part of that moment.
So
I
it's
think-
details.
It's analog.
Again with the details. Huh?
Yeah, right.
It's analog. I mean, it's like when I'm 51, so like
Baby.
my memories
Whatever.
my memories cross from the analog era to the digital
Right.
era, and now we have generations who've grown up in strictly from day one they were analog.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for us to show the value of all these things, these tactile things in the real world. And, it's
agree.
everything. It's the physical experience of being in the desert, the smell, of the desert flowers, the, wet dirt, like all these things that you can't get from a screen.
Yeah.
No.
And same thing with mezcal, food. It's the same thing. It's a metaphysical journey, I guess. You know what I mean?
Wow, we're getting
Yeah.
deep here.
I like that though. I think it's super true because
it
it
is.
comes to
It
a
really
place
is.
where it sounds really strange, but when you're going into that space, especially with mezcal, that altered states of being, right? It opens up that creativity, that pineal gland. right?
we have so much of the world and the stereotypes and the way we need to live or we're supposed to live.
Right.
And when we get rid of that,
Oh, yeah.
we're actually allowed to be ourselves.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can
And
just
that's
be.
really, yes.
Yeah.
And that, obviously sometimes
being.
we're not endorsing things, but
No,
I'm
but
endorsing.
if we were, we'd endorse you
That's what
subscribing.
But the thing is that when you let go of all the insecurities and the stereotypes and everything else that the world places on you, like, you can actually be yourself.
Hey Jane, have you heard about Autofluencer?
No, can you tell me more?
Yeah, so it's a new partnership platform for creators and brands in the automotive and motorsports industry.
Wait a minute, that's brilliant.
Right, I thought so. So the goal is to give them tools to create more successful partnerships at shows like SEMA.
Man, that's a game changer.
And what's even better right now is creators are free and brands get 60% off if they join before September 1st.
Okay, how do people join?
Go to autofluencer.com now.
That's one of the reasons why I think you and I in particular are friends, is like, you stand for something, right? And you create beauty in all the different things that you create, right? You're creative. And to me, that's the most important thing in the world, because the world has become backwards in the sense that we have stopped celebrating the creators and we've started celebrating the people who are the distributors, the lawyers, the retailers, anybody but the actual creator, right? And if you look at great societies throughout time, like, that's a mistake, right? Like, every great society at their peak, the most important people of that society were the people who are the poets and the painters and the people who are the creators, right? Because that is part of the essence of life, right? That creativity, that ability to go, I have an idea and I'm going to bring that idea to fruition in whatever discipline it is, right? So I think it's an important thing to then show that to younger generations and go like, whatever problems you have in your life, a lot of it stems from this idea that, like, you're not satisfying something that's deep inside of you, and whether that's, physical activity or whatever it is, you have to go figure that out. But this is one of the paths of being creative where you can be extremely happy and extremely fulfilled. You definitely have to do the work. It's not like I'll just be creative, right? But, it's one of the things that I love about not just what we do with the off-road racing, but what we do with our agency. I mean, like, when I can't sleep, it's 2 a.m, I'll get up and start designing our next t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'll take an idea that I had, I just actually, so here's a funny story. So, a friend of mine calls me up right before the Mint and says, hey, CJ Ramone from the Ramones is into off-road. And I'm like,
Again, punk rock.
yeah. I'm like,
Love it.
okay, cool, no way. So then I stalk the guy on his Instagram.
Okay.
Sure enough,
I love to know that you stalk others.
it's so easy now.
Yeah, I know. Right.
So then I stalk him on his Instagram. I see some off-road stuff, and so I'm like, I DM him.
DM him. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm all, there's no way. The guy's, he's not going to, you know what I mean?
You're Matt Martelli.
Like,
though.
right away, he's like,
Dude,
he's
seriously.
like, right on, dude. I'm in. And I said, hey, can we VIP you to the Mint 400? He said, yeah. Can I bring some friends? Yeah. So he comes to Mint 400. We VIP him. And we ended up doing some trophy truck rides, and we put him in a trophy truck. Blown away. He's super stoked, right? So, we end up having dinner later on and, talking about off-road racing. He's building a Class 7 truck, and he's going to come race with us. And he goes, hey, have you been to the Punk Rock Museum? I'm like, no, because I saw it. And frankly, I thought it was some corporate thing, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, Vegas capitalizing on punkers. No thanks, right? I was definitely wrong. And so he said, hey, you got to go. I'm going to make an appointment for you. It's a curated, you can do the tour curated or you can just go. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm busy. I'm not paying attention to stuff. Somebody's texted me from the museum saying, hey, when are you coming? Blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I got to go do this. And we're just finished with doing a bunch of scouting. And I was in Vegas for a day. And so I text the lady back, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas. And she goes, great. Can you be there at 12:30? I said, sure. she goes, great, your name's on the list. So I kind of was like, whatever, it'll be cool. Yeah, whatever. I'll check it out. So I get there, I walk in, and first person I see is Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats. And I'm kind of like, what the, like, okay. And then they're like, yeah, Jim he's curating the experience. And I see his girlfriend Genevieve, who I actually know. She's the bass player for Eagles of Death Metal and has played at the Mint before.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what are you doing here? And blah, blah.
That's
and
cool.
Like, okay. So we do the tour. This is 2.5 hours, and it was absolutely incredible. Because this guy was there when all this happened. I had no idea that his two best friends were Lemmy from Motorhead and Joe Strummer from The Clash.
Wow.
So like, I felt like I should be filming the whole thing because the story, the punk rock museum is broken up by era, and location. So it starts with New York and London, and then goes into LA and Southern California, and these different kind of eras of how everything evolved, and it was incredible. And the other thing that was incredible was for me as a visual artist, right away I was inspired. Right away I'm like, oh man, I could do a shirt like that.
Right.
Like I'm taking pictures and texting like my team that does all the graphic design with me, Max and Jeff, and they're like, what? That's they're off work. It's Saturday afternoon. They're like, okay, Matt's hammered and he's texting
Doesn't
us.
happen often.
Yeah. So it was
You were in your
spectacular
creative flow.
and very inspiring. And so like I came out of that and did like 4 or 5 different T-shirt concepts right away, and then handed them to my guys, and they're like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Because this isn't like computer shit. This is like, how you tie the visual culture of punk rock culture, which is tied to off-road.
Yeah, it is.
Is West Coast, music. I'll get into another really cool story, but it was just one of those things where I was just totally inspired, but like it fired me up, and right away I was like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this and this, and I love that, right? I absolutely love that. So
Baja Forged, signature vehicle builds and off-road products built to forge your own path. Baja Forged was basically made because we loved off-roading. We loved the open roads. If you're looking for off-road products to help you get out on the terrain, visit bajaforged.com. Follow us on Instagram at Baja Forged for our latest builds.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute honor to officially announce the giveaway of this 2018 GMC Denali behind me and this $10,000 in cash. Head on over to the site, envisionsupplyco.com, for your chance to win. Every $1 you spend will get you 1 entry into winning this 700 horsepower truck and this cash. Your chance is now. Good luck.
I think that every person is a creative at heart. You just have to bring that out in them.
Sure.
And
that's
it's
through
yeah.
indoctrination through growing up.
Well, 100%.
but-
I don't
Yeah.
disagree.
Yeah.
Here's what I learned, right, about the lies that we were programmed in
Yeah.
school.
Oh,
yes.
Right? So, like, I'm in high school, and I'm a total fuck up, right? Like,
Bleep.
you can bleep that.
I'm kidding.
F up. Like,
I'm kidding.
like, I was more interested in girls in my band, right? Like, that was
Right.
what was important to me, not school.
It's called being a
I
teenager.
was
Right?
into boys and cars.
There you go. Well, I was into cars, too.
About
But,
the
like,
same thing. I totally liked music too.
so...
Surf punks. I mean, that was that.
I didn't care about school, right?
It didn't resonate with you
Not
the same
until I
way.
walked into a graphic design class, right?
Yeah.
And that all of a sudden I
The
was
challenge is different.
Yeah.
When we have a challenge for ourselves, like we want to rise to it.
but the whole
Sometimes
time
we need it.
Like the whole time, I remember the counselor. I went to Helix High, and whoever this counselor is, fuck them.
Sorry, Helix High counselor.
No.
Fuck off.
No, definitely. I didn't need any mezcal to say that. I remember
did.
this woman sitting me down and going, sorry, it was a man, and he's like very stern, very like, scholarly, like he knows something, and like the irony is that guy probably never actually worked a legit job in his life. Right?
Or felt passion for doing something he enjoyed
Because he
doing.
stuffed it down.
So
man.
he's
was
literally
told
like
to
telling
stuff
me
it
like,
down.
hey, probably the best thing for you is construction. You should really focus on a trade.
working
Blah
with your
blah.
hands. Got it.
Blah blah. No, because he was writing me off as stupid.
Got it.
Right, because I couldn't fit in that mold.
Box, yeah.
Right, and he's like, this is how you're gonna make a living and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. And let me tell you, I made more than that high school counselor did.
Oh, I bet.
In his life by the time I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a funny thing to look back at that, but the whole time they're telling you, well, you should be this, or when you start being a creative in school, they're like, don't worry about taxes or contracts. You're left brain, and that's for right brain people. And that's bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like I'm really
We're a full person.
yeah, let me tell you, after getting screwed over a bunch in
Yeah.
younger years, I'm really good at accounting.
Figure
Yeah.
that
Right?
shit out.
I can look at other people's accounting and be like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Like right away.
Yeah.
So I don't. I think to your point, I think everybody is creative. It's just a matter of bringing that out.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a matter of encouraging them to figure out like what is it.
Yes.
What is it that you're creative at?
Inspiring them, because people think, well, I don't have the talent, or that's what I always get right away. I don't have the talent and skill set that you do. And I'm like, oh, no, you do. I don't
It
care.
might be a little bit different.
I don't care if it's like
Yeah.
organizing.
Yeah.
Organizing
Yeah.
is a talent and skill set. Like, it's
Uh-oh.
in a different way.
Okay, about this one. This is another one of those pretty bottles. A relative to the blue bottle.
Yeah.
I'll put mine right.
So this is. Oops, sorry. Bless you.
Sorry.
But bless me. Bless me.
So this is the Bozal, and this is a Pachuga, and this is the one that I was saying, is made with animal parts and
Oh, this is the oily one.
yeah. This is my favorite one.
This is the greasy one.
This is my favorite one.
Oh,
Okay.
I think that if I remember, I might have to lick off my mic stand. Who wants?
Wow,
I'm sorry.
that one's so good.
It
to
is.
waste.
There's fruit and spice in that.
It's
just,
so different.
it's just more complex, right?
It is.
Because you're tasting all those herbs that they've
It
used.
doesn't have. It just goes down,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have that crazy after kick or anything like that.
Is it
just goes down.
from? Do you think it's from the protein
get
in
an
it,
orange?
right?
I think it's some of that.
kind of mellows protein. I don't
I
know
think
what to call it.
It's like
Chicken
a.
parts.
The animal.
I think
The
well,
animal
it's
in
like a
it.
tea bag full of like a bunch of herbs, right?
Right.
So I think it's like the whole.
that sounds weird.
We've lost control. Can we have an editor? and now one of our producers is going. Does
Oh,
this
it's
mean
time?
keep it going?
There are always going to be long ones with me here, right?
I know. We discussed.
So wait,
This was previously discussed.
one more music story. So I didn't think about this.
It's
and-
all about
Oh,
punk rock, dude.
Yeah.
We didn't cheers on this because
Well, cheers on-
I've gone.
there's one more.
Oh shoot.
Oh wow. Okay.
You want to hand me that one?
Oh my goodness.
We'll do it expeditiously. It'll be fun.
Oh great.
Okay. Punk
Can
rock
we
story.
sober up
Or
while we're here?
Music story, whatever.
So, one of my favorite bands is Queens of the Stone Age.
yeah.
Oh yes.
And
Mine too.
I went and saw them recently in San Diego, and it was an amazing show. I mean, I haven't been that impressed by a band in at least 10 years, maybe 20 years, right? So right now, these guys are kind of in their prime. So if you get the opportunity to go see them, go see them.
Or maybe we can invite him to the podcast,
That would be even better.
and
And
you'll
I know
come back,
one of
right?
them is in Joshua Tree area, so close to me.
A couple of them.
Great.
Yeah.
She's gonna hook him up.
But so
Kale Bunker knows.
I think it was 1989.
You know
been like-
Kale? I didn't know
I
that.
do. Sorry.
I think it was like 1989, right? We used to all go skate
Wow.
a pool in over
Or was
by
I a junior?
Over-
No, sophomore.
yeah
I was a mother.
over by.
Freshman.
I was a baby mother.
So we go skate this pool over by the Salton Sea,
Really?
and yeah,
That's
because
rad.
anywhere there was a pool, and like they had a bunch of hotels that had failed over there, and
That's rad.
I love
we just went there to skate the pool, and it became like a little bit of a regular thing. Like, hey, it's cool, go camp and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we're there skating, and it gets dark, and I think it's a Friday night or Saturday night or whatever, and it's like sun's going down, so we're packing our shit up, and we're getting ready to go. And these dudes who are a little bit older come over, and they're like, "Where are you going?" We're like, "Well, it's getting dark." And they're like, "We have lights." Like, okay. Right? So they pull a generator out and fire these lights up, and we're like, we'll keep skating.
Right?
I mean, like, we don't need to
Let's
stop.
go.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, yeah, we're having a party. This band's going to play. And
Desert parties are the best.
Oh, yeah.
The best.
They were all about the desert parties.
dude,
Queens
the
was.
best. Because there's no rules.
Man.
They're like, no rules.
There's
You
no
better
rules. There's no po-po. You
Yeah,
on
that's
your
right.
own.
So, whatever, this band starts playing, and I'm looking at them, and I'd already seen quite a few really good bands at that stage. So it was like, okay, I'm not going to be impressed by like the local Salton Sea band,
Right? You have no clue who these people are in the middle of the desert.
except for the band turns out to be Caius.
Oh, that was What's-His-Face's first band.
Yeah, it was Josh's first
Thank
band.
you. I couldn't remember his name. What's his face? I'm sorry. It's your fault.
So these
Can I
guys
Google
start
that?
playing, and everybody stops skating.
Yeah,
Everybody's
all of a
like,
sudden it's like,
holy
oh.
shit.
You're like,
Right? Because they had this big, heavy, fuzzy sound, and it was like
Yes.
pre-Nirvana, so grunge hadn't happened yet. And it was a pretty holy shit kind of moment, right? And then we left, and then we're like, wow, that was really cool. And then it became a regular thing, like, oh, them and some other bands were
That's
playing.
rad.
And so that was like, I think 88, 89, somewhere around then, right?
In the middle of the desert.
Middle
in
of
the
the desert.
Salton Sea.
And of course we would go there and ride motorcycles too,
Yeah.
and the whole 9 yards. So fast forward to what year is it? 2024, right?
oh, you mean
I like
President-
his like, fuzziness on
2021?
what year is it?
Well, I'm
like, I thought
I'm
it was
like,
just me.
Well, I was gonna do the math, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna try and do the math. I'm not trying to do the math because it makes me feel
Over 25 years.
makes me feel old. So
You want an abacus?
a few years,
Tink, tink.
the fact that I know what that is.
Bean counter.
So
Okay. Oh, Lord have mercy.
That's it. We're done. This
Yeah,
is it. This is
I'm
the last one.
this
Done.
is the best one.
I'm
I
gonna
think.
need a ride
The last
home.
save
Can I
the
get an
best
Uber
for last.
And if I start laughing, then it heightens the whole like.
So why I love this one the most
Yes.
is this is an anejo, so it's been rested.
I was just gonna say, can
I
we
feel like
first say
I
that
need
it's
to
gold?
rest it.
So it's completely different
Oh, it
than any
is.
of the other
Yes.
ones
So just
because
like
Is this our last one?
because
you said?
it is
Just like a
Thank you.
tequila that's been
yeah.
Oops.
rested for a year,
Okay.
right? So
I'm
the
gonna
same
need
thing.
to
So it's
rest
going to
for a
be
year
delicious.
after this. Oh,
How good is that?
oh, I could. That's my
good.
favorite.
What does that
That's
taste
my
like
It's
to you?
just right at the end. I don't know. It's smooth.
It tastes like roasted pineapples to me.
Oh.
It tastes like butter to me. Are we just projecting?
pineapple. I'm not
We
quite
had-
sure.
We had pineapple water.
We did. It's really smooth and then it's just bright.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
smokiness.
And there's no aftertaste
Yeah.
afterwards either.
It's not. There's no.
No.
There's like a.
Like
teeny
later
bit of
on,
heat.
like yeah, not really though.
But it's like you said. It's like a cross between heat and brightness.
like normally, like my whole body feels like it's warm after. Like that one's like
no, it's
bright.
just like a tingle, like a.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I could drink a lot of it. It's a problem.
That one's probably the best.
Yeah, Los
Well,
The best for
Nahulas.
last.
You know,
Right.
I like that, and I liked the one that you brought, Theresa.
I thought so too,
because
yeah.
it was,
It was good.
Really.
You know, we could go back through them just to be sure. If
Oh
you want.
Lord, have mercy.
I love
Our
their
producers
idea
are crying
of the
over
red
there.
string because
It is cool.
Their idea is that they wanted to tie people together by by drinking, but by
drinking.
people. I know. I was like,
kinda
but
funny. Well,
it
but no,
does.
but it's a culture thing.
Yes.
It's the same type of thing. It's like what we're
It's
talking
enjoying
about. Like,
libations.
Yeah, when people
Yes.
want to meet with me, I'm like, great, let's have a drink. They
But-
get to choose whether that's coffee or alcohol.
Yeah.
good point.
But it really
but something connects
showcases-
us,
yeah.
you know, and that's what that is, and that's what their point was, is that, you know, the world connects us in a different way, and what we've all been talking about is like the culture and like us doing things, not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
being, like
Yeah.
doing, you know, like that's part of who we are.
So what podcast number is this that you guys
I
are
don't
on?
know what number.
you know?
Do you guys know?
32.
32.
You guys need to catch up. I just hit 50.
Yeah. So these are all
Yeah,
the
we're
things that we were
celebrating.
supposed to talk about. Okay, quickly. You
Like how I brought that around?
You started
because
before
remember,
us.
We were
Did I?
no,
No, I
he
started
didn't.
after.
He
Oh,
started
shit.
after.
But I have a.
But you're doing
I own a
weekly,
media company.
right?
Yeah.
You're doing
No,
more
I
weekly?
do what you guys do. I stack them, right? I'm like,
Okay.
I'm like, all right, we're gonna do 2 today, 4 today, whatever.
I love that. You do what we do.
That's true. You guys
gave
influenced
back.
me.
Right
No,
on.
100%.
Yes.
No, 100%.
I love that.
Yay.
But
Good.
everybody that you have on your show is incredible.
It's
My
fun.
favorite. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
No. But you make a good point because they're all incredible. But it's the way that Matt wants to understand people. And like this, like he wants to understand each mezcal.
yes.
So that we can share about what that is. And you do that in your podcast too.
Well, I mean,
in Off-Road Racer podcast.
Yes,
what's-
in the off-road
I have
racer
a different
podcast.
like it's funny because like I have a different agenda. Like most people, and I'm not saying you guys love automotive, and this is your love of automotive, right? It's very clear.
I think it's we love people
Well, yes, but
in
journey.
Yeah.
automotive for
But-
sure.
but most podcasts are like, hey, you know, let me get some most popular wild ass people on here, right? That's what their goal is, right? And you could tell because it doesn't create interesting conversations.
Yeah.
Like it's really funny when I listen to other podcasts, I search for specific conversations with specific people. Like I don't there's not
Interesting.
many podcasts that I
Yeah.
follow that I have to listen to every single one of them.
Sure.
Like I'll jump into Rogan at certain points and then jump out and then jump into, you know, somebody else and then I'll search for a topic or whatever and, you know, jump in and out depending on the conversation. So for me, it's different agenda. It's that, you know, I started doing this because a lot of the people that created our culture were dying, right? And there was some pretty important people that, you know, like there was a guy named Nye Frank who I'm probably gonna have to do like a little documentary on just because the guy was such a savant, you know, barely graduated high school and was one of the most impactful people to off-road vehicle design, right? And never did anything on a computer, did everything by hand.
Yeah.
You know, you go talk to him and he'd have like these pieces of wood attached together to explain, you know, suspension and geometry. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, honestly, it was like going to see the wizard, right? Right?
I love it.
But then he built these vehicles. Like he built a Pro 4.
He was the wizard.
He built a Pro 4 for Rob Mack with air suspension. So he'd taken traditional suspension from, you know, Lowriders and, you know, big trucks and created a way to like, you know, modify it for off-road so that, you know, during the race they could change the suspension setup. And the combination of that and Rob Mack driving, they shellacked everybody and outlawed that truck. Rob Mack still has that truck. Like you look at it and
That's
like
amazing.
it's crazy because I was having a conversation with him and he's like, dude, if I brought this truck out today, because of its suspension technology,
crazy,
it probably
isn't it?
still beat everybody.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So that to me is the coolest thing about our culture and really America is like these people who like, it's like nobody told them that they couldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's like Mickey Thompson, like
Nobody told you couldn't do it.
right.
I
Go
just want to
do
tell
it.
you that now.
It's like Mickey Thompson, like the dude
Totally
like
my influencer.
High five.
draws a
You knew.
you know a chalk drawing on his garage floor, right? Never built a land speed car, never built a really significant car.
Man.
right? Goes out and builds a car and sets the land speed record a year later. Him and his
off-road
buddy, right? Like that's just like I love that spirit of
Yeah.
like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, what made you think that you could do something so incredible, right? And they're like, well,
Like
nobody
pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody
what's the
told
next
me I
level?
couldn't. And
Yes.
that's what's happening, what happened or tried to happen in your schooling, where somebody's going to come in and intervene and say, oh, well, you can't
That's
do
my
that.
biggest
You're going to
motivator.
have to go to construction.
Tell me I can't do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right?
You hear that?
Right?
Go ahead.
Tell
And
me I
I'm
can't
gonna,
do it.
I'm going to tell you a little
can do
secret,
it.
guys. I'll say that to Greg. Oh, well, you can't do that?
Little manipulation.
Challenge accepted.
That's like been the whole conversation. So
Yes.
it's been amazing.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
You guys, you saw it here. You saw what
This
was
is
it?
Great.
10 sips of mezcal.
They're just
Here.
sips. Just
We
sips.
did this.
We did sips.
Tasting.
We
We did
did
a
our
tasting.
tasting.
But this
We-
is what life is about.
one
Is
been
like
eaten?
you. I don't even know what to say.
True or
Here's the
simple?
thing.
You need to be inspired by who
life.
you are. Like literally who you are. Like
Life
it's
is-
all inside of us.
Listen, life is simple. Go off-roading with your friends.
Yeah.
Drink mezcal with them. And listen to
create
Queens of the
some
Stone
stuff.
Age.
Yes.
Loudly.
Go create.
But the thing
Go
to me
create.
is like it's inside of each of us.
It is.
And like none of us like don't grab it enough. Like we're so worried about like what the rest of the world thinks
Sure.
and
But-
what they see.
But that is all of those little keep you down things.
I
Yes.
know. So
You know
we
what?
want to lift you up.
Yes. Lift
Like
it
you are
up.
amazing. You're creative. You have all these things. Like
Look at Jason.
it doesn't just take.
Jason's like, just wrap it up. He wants some
It was a
mezcal.
half an hour ago when he did
How can we
this.
find you? You are so many
Yes.
things. Off-road racer podcast.
Off-Road Racer Podcast.
Yes.
Unlimited racing.
Unlimited
off-road
off-road racing.
Unlimited
Off-road
off-road racing.
The
Go
Mid 400.
race.
Well, it
And
has
tha- and
all
that's
of
the
those.
Cal- California-
Dirt Co. for the
California
merch. You're
Dirt
wearing
Co.
one of my hats.
Dirtco.
And the socks.
Oh. my goodness.
So many things. But the
Yeah.
thing is you can do so many things. That's the idea of this podcast.
Absolutely.
Is like inspiring
to
other
inspire
people.
and get a little crazy every once in a while.
Yes.
For
Absolutely.
Cinco,
Unleash yourself.
Siete de Mayo.
Siete de Mayo.
I remember. How is it that I remembered
That's
it
it.
That's good, dude.
now?
That's it.
Thank
Siete
you.
de Mayo.
Oh.
You go.
Another fake. Another fake holiday.
Oh, I came with my mustache.
Okay, I'll put
Sorry,
my mustache
that was
on.
a weird mustache, huh?
No
I'll put my
worries.
mustache on.
You have a mustache too.
I don't know.
I'll run a mustache.
Oh,
Okay.
this is one that's no. This one's
Don't they have
perfect
the
for
big
him.
Pachuco? I need
Yeah,
that
isn't
one.
this the Pachuco?
Okay, give him the
Yeah,
big one.
why
There you go.
This is the final.
What is this one? Oh, I want to do this one.
We have to do like a little excerpt
Picture?
of this.
It came off.
Oh, let me see. I got to see your mustache.
That's perfect.
Oh shit! You're,
I found one.
you called me my dad.
It won't stay on. It's like
I'm gonna
you
wet
gotta
my
do the
pants.
accent. Like,
Yours is
what would you like in the salad?
your mustache was so crooked. It was I'm dying.
This is how we're finishing.
Okay, well, thanks you guys for joining High Octane Hustle. Oh my God, you're wasting your mezcal.
Who are you?
I'm Fastlane Jane.
And I'm Design Muse, and
And
this
this was
Matt Martelli.
Woo!